Hanin, Boju, Tansei. I come here to this territory. I'm going to say this in my language. Ahani mishumisak no kumak mikwechman kumabishai kumawijish nang umaga yang mengo. Manish world age day jinikade. Wega bijang uma bijak mash nimishumisak no kumak. The Hodeshoni, Mississauga, the Ganishnabe, Anish Wega Kayotuma. Chimigwet. And in English, I said, I bring you to the Haudenosaunee and the Mississauga of the New Credit, the Anishinaabe, and the Turtle Island that live in this land. The ancestors of the East and the West and North and South to come here. And my spirit name is Kaniganit. And I come from Coaquecojung First Nation. Ahau.
Indigenous communities continue to be neglected in our homelands, known as Turtle Island. The recent discovery of the unmarked graves of our missing children has been a shock to most, except for our Indigenous communities. We have been trying to tell society this for years. This World AIDS Day, we take time out to center the Indigenous community in a land from which we come from. The social and economic disparities which limit the well-being of us as Indigenous peoples have a powerful impact on HIV infection.
We service the Two-Spirit Indigenous community within Ontario. We provide support services such as HIV education, harm reduction, online programming, support services, employment services, and housing support.
I'm laying this rose for my brothers and sisters.
For our mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles.
And for our grandmas and grandpas.
In 2021, although we are 11 different and separate agencies, we are holding our hands together as one, reminding our government and our communities that we are still losing our parents, friends, siblings, brothers and sisters to HIV and AIDS. Those of us from the Black, Indigenous and other racialized communities in Canada are not only the most neglected, but also the most impacted by HIV. We carry this disproportionate burden of this disease and its related inequalities.
We represent the agency of the Black Coalition for AIDS Prevention, otherwise called Black CAP. And Black CAP is the largest AIDS service organization here in Canada, providing services for members of the African Caribbean Black community. Our work is governed by a motto,
because all Black lives are important.
We just want to share that because all Black lives are important, we need to make sure that we are taking care of every Black person that we can reach.
We want to make sure that everyone who are impacted and also living with HIV are provided direct services.
World AIDS Day is a sacred time not only for the 11 agencies represented here today, but also for the many other individuals and groups around the globe. It is an international time when we pause to reflect, to look back at what brought us to this place and to gather the energy and strength to move forward.
El Día Mundial del SIDA es un momento sagrado, no solo para las 11 agencias representadas aquí hoy, sino también para muchas otras personas y grupos alrededor del mundo. Es un momento internacional en el que nos detenemos a reflexionar, a mirar hacia atrás a lo que nos trajo a este lugar y a reunir la energía y la fuerza para seguir adelante.
Hoje é o Dia Mundial da AIDS. É um momento sagrado. Não só para as 11 agências representadas aqui hoje, mas também para muitas outras pessoas e grupos ao redor do mundo. É um momento internacional em que nós devemos refletir e olhar através do que este lugar nos trouxe, para nos reunir com energia, força para seguir em frente.
My name is Claudia Medina. This is Olivia Gemma. We are from Prisoners HIV/AIDS Support Action Network, otherwise known as PASAN. We work with folks who are incarcerated and folks who are presently out in community. We work with folks that are HIV positive who have been in prison, as well as those at risk. We lay these roses down for people who have been incarcerated and people who are incarcerated, living with HIV or have passed of AIDS. During this annual World AIDS Day memorial event, we remember and pay reverence to the thousands of people whose names are on the plaques and those millions of others whose names are not there, but who are etched deep in our hearts. Some hail from the communities of people who use drugs. Others were LGBTQI+, some were sex workers, others were heterosexuals, some were born in this land, others were migrants to this land, and some were elders, others were children. Some were free, others were incarcerated, some were able-bodied, others were people living with a disability.
Today is World AIDS Day. It's a big day, and it's to create public awareness, challenge people. My hope is that World AIDS Day should wake up everybody, every humanity in the world to take care of people living with HIV/AIDS and not to forget, because AIDS is not over. HIV is not over. The battle is still there. I will call upon government, individuals, pharma people, all people living with HIV/AIDS or affected by HIV/AIDS to challenge them and then hold them accountable. We saw COVID-19. People acted very well, quickly to bring vaccine. Why not HIV/AIDS after 40 years? AIDS is not over and we're never going to give up. Aujourd'hui, c'est la journée mondiale du VIH/Sida. Mais nous voulons inviter aussi le gouvernement à prendre part à ce mouvement et à donner les ressources équitables nécessaires pour qu'on puisse travailler dans les différentes communautés affectées par le VIH/Sida. Je prends cette rose à la mémoire des personnes tombées par le VIH/Sida et j'aimerais que tout le monde se rappelle de ce qui se passe autour de la victimisation et la stigmatisation, la discrimination concernant le VIH/Sida pour les personnes vivant avec le VIH/Sida. Ils sont tous des humains, des personnes. Nous ne devrons pas les discriminer. Nous devrons prendre compte de ce qu'ils sont et de les venir en aide.
I laid this rose in memory of all African Caribbean black people who left us, and I am celebrating their legacy. And this is to assure you that your legacy will continue and the journey you started will continue.
Aujourd'hui, nous continuons d'observer et d'honorer ce qui est devenu une tradition de longue date qui a aidé à définir qui nous sommes en tant que communauté du VIH. Nous portons la couleur rouge qui symbolise vie et nous le faisons en sachant que toute vie est sacrée. Peu importe d'où vous venez, peu importe avec qui vous êtes impliqué et quelle que soit la langue que vous parlez. Nous portons et chérissons le ruban rouge qui est notre fier symbole visible de la détermination à faire du VIH une question visible, importante et incontournable à l'ordre du jour international. Action Positive est un organisme qui opère dans la région de Toronto pour les 12 dernières années et nous offrons des services à la communauté francophone. Nous organisons des activités et des ateliers pour améliorer les conditions de santé, autant physiques, mentales que sexuelles. Et nous offrons aussi du soutien et d'accompagnement pour les personnes qui désirent visiter les hôpitaux et qui ne sont pas bilingues ou qui ne parlent pas anglais. Je place cette rose pour les membres de la communauté que nous avons perdus au cours des 12 années.
Pour notre chère communauté résiliente étant affectée par le VIH, qui doit toujours surmonter les préjugés et autres discriminations liées à la séropositivité.
Grâce à vous, j'ai une meilleure vie, une meilleure santé comme étant une personne qui vit avec le VIH moi-même. On ne va jamais vous oublier, on ne va jamais oublier votre histoire et tous les progrès que vous avez faits pour nous pour y arriver où est-ce qu'on est aujourd'hui.
Cette rose est pour les francophones au Nouveau-Brunswick que je tiens à cœur et je voudrais faire ça pour eux.
Today, we're here to commemorate World AIDS Day. We lay the black roses and the red roses in honor of those who we have lost due to HIV.
I lay my rose down in memory of all of my aunts, uncles, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, all my family that have passed away from HIV in the community.
I lay this rose on behalf of the memories of people who have died and also to the people who are still here.
I lay this rose down in memory of all the people that have struggled during the pandemic in the past and to remember that we still have the HIV present, and we have a lot to do to fight for free medication to all the world.
I lay this rose down in memory of all those we've lost and those we are still with us. In particular, our Black, Brown, and Indigenous sisters, brothers, and people who struggle with and live with HIV. We're here on behalf of Fife House. Fife House is a supportive housing agency providing housing to people living with HIV all over the Greater Toronto Area. We're the largest provider of housing in the country. Here at Fife House, we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, those we've lost to HIV. They lead us through the day-to-day, the decisions, and how we do this work, and for them we are grateful. So why do we lay the roses? We'll find the answers in the biography of Jim St. James. Jim St. James was one of the co-founders of PWA. We're now going to hear an excerpt from page 293 to find out more.
Every closed casket had a lid on it, a single long black stem scarlet rose, lovingly encased in a ribbon of the same color. In the beginning, the foundation had always sent bouquets to the funerals of people who have died of AIDS. But that had become too costly. There were just so many funerals. Jim, in his economic thoughtfulness, created what would become a signature. The single rose dipped in black except for scarlet petals. This last loving gesture from the PWA Foundation came to be known as the Black Rose.
Since 1987, PWA has been serving all people living with HIV in Toronto, providing practical assistance. Practical because in 1987, during the height of the AIDS epidemic, people did not have time. They did not have resources, and we were there. And today, we continue to be a practical service provider because people living with HIV need financial assistance, need food, need medication, need community, need meaningful opportunities.
Je suis ici pour parler des personnes qu'on nous a quittées, qui sont morts du sida, pour les remercier. C'est grâce à eux que moi je suis là, Chantal. Ils m'ont encouragée, m'ont donné la force pour être résiliente, pour parler de mon vécu, pour lutter contre la stigmatisation et la discrimination des personnes qui vivent avec le VIH, sans discrimination de l'âge, de la langue, de la religion, du genre, de la culture, de la sexe-orientation. Donc je suis ici en tant que père éducatrice à PWA. PWA qui est ma famille, PWA qui m'a adoptée, qui m'a donné la force de parler de ce qui se passe dans notre communauté et aider d'autres personnes, surtout les femmes qui vivent avec le virus du VIH, de faire la plaidoirie elles-mêmes et puis de savoir comment se prévenir d'autres maladies et de prévenir d'autres personnes pour ne pas être infectées par le VIH.
Over the years, we have complemented that strong symbolism of the black rose with the more cost-effective carnation. As we observe the laying of the carnations, we remember our loved ones, daughters, mothers, lovers, fathers, children, sons, cousins, friends, who are no longer with us because of AIDS. We pledge to them, you are forever in our hearts.
Every year, the black rose and the red carnations stay here at the memorial all through winter and spring as a symbol of undying love and dedication for loved ones who are immortalized here.
They are later cleared in the summer for the AIDS Vigil that is held in June and which is managed by the 519.
We therefore hope that you will come back in June for us to continue this sacred memorial and honoring our loved ones.
And so, as we leave the AIDS Memorial on this World AIDS Day 2021, we encourage one and all to not forget this place and what it means to the HIV sector. Our reminder is that there is life after World AIDS Day, and there is a need for us to sustain and redouble our efforts, especially in a time like this, when there are other competing issues. We leave you with this message to our brothers and sisters: you are always in our hearts.
We are bringing the curtains down on World AIDS Day 2021 here in Barbara Hall, the AIDS Memorial. It has not been lost on us that we're leaving behind the carnations, the roses dedicated to only a fraction of the persons who have died from AIDS complications. We leave here today with the resolve to continue doing what we can to stand by those who are living triumphantly, bravely with HIV. But we also know that we have to challenge the systems that continue to relegate persons to become vulnerable to HIV. We know that there are systems embedded in race, culture, in sexism, in homophobia, for example, that force people, that make people become more vulnerable to HIV. And those are the systems we are dedicated to changing. So from World AIDS Day and beyond, ours is this commitment to continue doing this important work. This important work to destabilize gender and other inequalities, race and other inequalities. Ours is the commitment to ensure that equality reigns and that all people are treated well regardless of their HIV status. There is life after World AIDS Day, and we intend to make it good. Thank you very much.